This new Japanese light novel is getting cancelled, at least on Twitter. It's pretty common for Westerners to hate on Japanese media, but the conditions lined up to create the perfect storm: a Latina, AI, and more. There was so much criticism that the author made a statement. We're gonna go over all the reasons why Western tourists hate this new series, called, and yes, this is the name, The Dark Brown Latina Girl is Aiming for My Body. So I saw people like Chibi Reviews discuss this already, but I'm going to go over a lot more of these things that I've been thinking about for quite a while now. But now would be a good time to go over it because I'm thinking it's not just anime, it's about society in general. Before we go over why it's getting all this hate, let's take a look at what it's about. Youth romcom about an ordinary high school boy, well, maybe with a higher sex drive than usual, is helping out a foreign Latina girl in trouble. Grateful this super cheerful girl suddenly wants to marry him and have his children. Exclamation point. Exclamation mark. So grateful. First things first, people pretty much just hate the concept. And maybe not hate, but they think it's mid. Like, you know, just some typical seasonal rom-com. But look at rom-coms like Alia-san, Roshidere, airing right now. People will buy this up, so sorry to break it to you, if this ever gets an anime adaptation, there's a good chance it's going to be popular. One of the biggest reasons people hate this is the name itself, Latina, which is the name of the Latina girl who's the main character. Now, you might find this a little funny or odd or strange about this name, but these people, they hate this with the bottom of their heart. They're calling this the J.K. Rowling. Let me translate that for you, because normal people, they hear that and they think, oh, that's the author of Harry Potter, you know, one of the most popular media franchises of all time, and especially when I was growing up, even to this day. But for terminally online people, they hear that and they think this is a heavy insult. They're like, oh, this is a bigot. This is a, like, you know why. The thing is, this was actually very common back in the day. When I first started watching anime, there was a very popular series called Hitalia, the Axis Powers, as in World War II. So every character would be a representation of a country. So there would be like Germany, Japan, maybe it was like Japan Sensei. I don't know. I've never watched it. The target demographic of that series would be a lot of people that I'm actually criticizing throughout this video, if they were around back then. But of course, a lot of these people are the post-2020s people. But anyways, basically what I mean is if they're a Bakugo Deku shipper, they probably would have watched Hitalia back in the day. So nowadays they don't talk about Hitalia anymore though, because I guess it's World War II and it's like a harmful representation or whatever. This type of naming was not uncommon. This was one of the biggest series at the time. Anyways, the point is they hate the name. But the funny thing about the name is we already have La Latina, which is darkness from Konosuba, and we also have Latina herself, which I knew because I've watched this anime called I Would Do Anything, or you know, I Will Slay the Demon Lord for the Sake of My Daughter, something like that. Yeah, I watched this show. It was basically about this girl, Latina, and her father, and the father is like, the father will do anything at all costs to protect his, I think it was adoptive daughter. Yeah, super wholesome series. I recommend. Honestly, okay, it's not that good, but if you're someone that pretty much just watches any anime with a cute girl in it, like I do, strange flex, I guess, but okay, it's not strange. It's actually good. This is good. This is great anime taste. You should watch this series. Okay, maybe not, but if you like wholesome anime and stuff like that, if you like you know, like the one with the cooking and okay, never mind. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. The one with the cooking, Sweetness and Lightning. All right, anyways, moving on. So, okay, the funny thing is, okay, one more point. The funny thing is, people will be talking about the name and how it sucks, but you'll have people named after Goku, like in Mexico or whatever, and not just that, have you ever seen like black girls? They'll be named after countries like China, or not just countries, but continents like Asia. And like, obviously that's a little different because this is a Latina, and that is like a different country, but you get my point. The naming is not that weird. Oh my god. I'm laughing at the fact that I was like, have you ever seen black girls? So speaking about black, we have to talk about the biggest reason. And I know I said the biggest reason before, but I think this is truly the biggest reason why people hate this. And it's because the fact that they're looking at this and they see the skin color and they're like, huh? She's gray. Like, okay, but seriously, it's not just about black and white anymore. These people aren't looking at races. They're just looking at the straight up colors. They're taking their colorometer, or whatever the tool is called, the eyedropper tool. They're analyzing the Adobe sRGB, the whole color spectrum, analyzing every single pixel, and they calculated it. They're like, yup, she's gray. Like, how serious are these people? I don't know. If you think about this from a Japanese perspective, honestly, this could be dark because it is. And like, even from the South America perspective, they can be dark and they can be light. But these people, they won't stop until every character looks like something like Mr. Popo. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, you've seen something like Nami from One Piece. I saw that art recently. They made her dark and hairy. And then they had the Genshin Impact quote unquote boycotts where they're like, oh my god, there's not enough melanin or whatever. They're like, oh my god, melanin, we need more melanin, guys. Oh my god. The second you make a character more darker, which is exactly what happened here, you get a bunch of likes. So some people claim they're not fixing the art, but you know how it is. Like, as soon as you make a character darker on Twitter, everyone will just like mass like it, mass retweet it, mass repost it, whatever. They'll be like, oh my god, this is so much better looking. Like oh my god, it looks so much better. You improved it. So they might not say they fixed it, but then some people will say, oh my god, it looks so much better. Like, you really brought out the colors. Like, yeah, oh my god, the melanin, it's so good. It's so yummy. It tastes like a cocoa butter. I don't think it's the fact that she's not dark enough. I think it's the fact that she's light, as in gray or whatever they say. Like, take a look at here. The dark brown Latina girl. She's barely tan, sir. I know white people darker than that. And this person got like 8,000 likes on the original post. Watch whatever you want. Turn your brain off. I don't care. I don't like anime in general. AKA, they're a straight up tourist. But yeah, it's kind of funny and honestly kind of scary that these tourists have that much influence where they can get that much likes on something they don't even partake in. But like I said, people just don't like white in general, like the color. And not obviously, we already know they don't like white people, but they don't like white in general, like the color. They don't like lighter skin tones. So it could be dark. Like, for instance, Drake. They'll be like, oh, he's a white. No, he's a light skin. See, that's the thing. Black people, they've separated their skin color. They're like, oh, he a light skin. He a light, like, when you're a light skin, you're different. When you're black skin, like, yo, you Tyrone. But when you light skin, oh, you a light skin, bro. Like, nah, shut the fuck up, you light skin. Like, it's kind of weird. Having lighter skin is frowned upon. But ironically, if you like white girls, they have a term for that called snow bunnies. Speaking about terms, they also have Uncle Tom. And that's just the more politically correct version of another word that rhymes with an animal. Do any other groups of people have words like that? Come on now. Like, I know there's historical context, but it's the 21st century. Like, what is up? Okay, so moving on. We're going to move on from talking about black and white to talking about racism, but in a more comedic, lighthearted manner. So take a look at this. My racism is disappearing. Huge Latina opa. Cute brown face. I need her to have my babies instead. So this is a meme that's pretty much rooted in reality, where you'll have the most right-wing conservative guys, and then their wife will be like take a look at J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate for vice president. His wife is brown. So this is like a meme that is rooted in reality. It's not the first time it's happened. Let's just put it at that. Despite a lot of people wanting to have babies with her, there were other people, and by people I mean Twitter people, that were quite controversial about this, talking about how this is the author's advertised fetish and how this is Latinas being sexualized, which, well, there's like this post, the world if Latinas were no longer sexualized, with 16,000 likes, which is kind of funny because, they're probably thinking this is bad representation and whatnot, but, you know, if they were watching like a lot of anime, it's kind of funny because they would know that there is one right now with a Latina in it in this anime season. I think it's a Brazilian, but they would probably hate her because she has blonde hair and white skin. This person ended up getting quote tweeted because there was quite a bit of hypocrisy. Let me guess, sexualization is bad, unless it's the sexualized content you like, right? If you're going to fake moral outrage over sexualized content, at least put in the effort to not be two-faced about it. And literally as I'm clicking on this person has muted or hidden their post. Well, good thing I just took a screenshot. No one that actually hates this is Latino or Latina. they're all Latinx. And you know what they like instead? They like things like Los Primos by Disney. The Primos. Yes, this is the most disgusting piece of media I've ever seen in my life. Like, sorry, just this is the type of thing they would praise. So if I were to be like, ooh, Latina-chan, kawaii, like, you know, like, and they'd be like, oh, this is sexualization, even though I could argue that this is objectively, visually more aesthetic than any of these characters. But they turn around and they'd be like, oh, cha-cha, bonita, oh, like, what, this is the most disgusting thing I've seen. And oh my god, look at this one, Lita bonita. Like, they'd be like, oh, Lita, she can hit me with a chancla all day, essay. Like, oh my god, bro. Like, Cha-Cha Ramirez. Oh my god, I'm literally clicking on this. I'm reading about her. She is rather strange and wild child of the Primos, who is only capable of exclaiming her name. You telling me she just talks like a Pokemon all day? Like, cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. Cha-cha's only spoken word of dialogue. Oh my god, it's true. And what's wrong with your belly button? Like, it's not even 2D, it's 3D. Like, you know, people have innie belly buttons, and then some people have outie belly buttons. Not the car, like, it goes out. This character's belly button is literally going 3D. It's going off the screen. Like, what is going on? Like, this is the most disgusting character design I've seen in my life. Okay, like, you know what? Just, this is, God, what, gordito, what the frick is this? Like a Taco Bell or something? Anyways, I ended up clicking through the wiki and looking at each of these characters for 5 minutes, and just, like, let's just leave it at that. Like, it's just too disgusting. We're moving on. And so the next big point is AI. Yes. So the author made a statement because I guess they felt the need to with all the backlash. And they revealed that they used AI to come up with names for the main character, which they ended up with Latina-chan. And so, yeah, Twitter hates AI, and they also hate Japanese media in general. So this was the perfect storm for moral outrage 1000x, because Twitter is filled with all these like Twitter artists and whatnot, and these progressives, which it's kind of ironic because even though they're progressive, they don't like progress in technology such as artificial intelligence. So when I talk about AI in this section, I know it's a controversial topic. You know, there's a lot of negative effects that people can criticize, like job loss, the effects on like criminal justice, the power drain on the grid infrastructure, whatnot. But as a whole, I think this technology has more pros than cons. It's a net benefit to humanity. But there's these people that are viciously anti-AI. Like, I just call them anti-AI people. It's almost a political position to them. And they disregard any of the pros. But honestly, even the cons, I don't even think they're necessarily problems with AI. They're problems we've already had. It's just that the rapid acceleration of artificial intelligence has rapidly accelerated these problems. They've exposed these problems that we've already had, such as like what I mentioned earlier with the energy problems. That's not really an AI problem. That's just a, like, I don't know, you tell me, why is Germany nuking their nukes? Like literally. I'm talking about their nuclear power plants. Like, I don't know, they hate AI so much, but it's kind of funny. Like, Twitter, aka x.com, has Grok, which is their model, their AI. And if they hate AI so much, they shouldn't even use Twitter. This is the same thing that happened with Reddit. Reddit had some boycotts because of like some issue with APIs and whatnot, but they all ended up on Reddit still. It's the same thing with Twitter. They're all like, oh, we hate AI, but you're literally using twitter.com, and it probably scrapes from your data and you don't even know, or you probably know, but you don't care enough. You just say it just because you it's the popular thing to do, to hate on AI. But you know, the companies, they don't care about you. They don't care about you and your $1 net worth. I'm not saying that to just make fun of them. I'm saying that, like, not to belittle their existence as a human being, but literally these Twitter artists, a lot of them are from like third world countries. They make like $10 per commission and whatnot. So the collective net worth of Twitter artists is like $100,000 or something. You know how much Google is investing in companies like Anthropic, Microsoft, into OpenAI, like billions and billions of dollars. Okay, billions and billions. Okay, like literally, they don't care about $100,000 market capitalization of these Twitter artists. Like, the collective net worth of these guys is literally like a drop in the bucket to these companies. Ooh, you're suing us for your stupid lawsuit. You really think a lawsuit is gonna collapse like practically $1 trillion industry at this point, with like Nvidia being like one of the largest companies in the world right now? Yeah, good luck with that. We got Microsoft, Adobe, Adobe, Nvidia, Google, Meta, YouTube, which I'm going to upload this on, also part of Google, Twitter, X, you think they're just going to cut all their teams' funding and just stop the progress of AI just because of a couple of Twitter artists? Like, this is the future, whether you like it or not, and you better find a way to cope with it, aka work around it, other than just complaining on Twitter and grouping together like it's some political position, which is very strange to me. Let's be real now. This is a Japanese light novel series about a Latin American woman who is in Japan and wants to get impregnated by a Japanese high school boy. Like, what type of research were they expecting? Like, you wanted him to pull up a history book on South America? Like, come on, this is a rom-com. The com stands for comedy, not communist, you left. Take a look at this Twitter user here, Nats. They're saying they're feeling quote-unquote murderous. And they're getting likes, 4.4 thousand likes. They're getting rewarded for this behavior. The behavior of essentially saying that they're feeling like killing. You might think that this is just an edgy teenager, but unfortunately you'd be wrong. So looking at their profile, they are 24- all pronouns. So yes, this is a fully grown adult talking like this with no pushback whatsoever. In the open public where the writer himself can see this, keep in mind it's just one writer for a series that hasn't even started yet. This isn't some Jujutsu Kaisen. This series just got announced. And the guy is literally on Twitter himself trying to communicate with the Western audience. So there's a good chance he's actually seen this tweet about feeling murderous. Meanwhile, if I criticized a company like Ubisoft and called them one word like woke, they would attack me, call me racist, bigot, etc. But meanwhile, they're getting rewarded for essentially saying they're feeling like killing out in the open public, with no pushback whatsoever. Keep in mind, this Japanese writer is on Twitter and they're just getting started. Meanwhile, Ubisoft is an actual company that's been in business for decades. Isn't it crazy how it works? Like, don't even get me started. You could be on the other side of the world and they could arrest you for something you say on Twitter. They're feeling murderous because of the lack of research for Latina, the Japanese rom-com. You're not supposed to take this serious. Like, what do you want them to do? Like, come on now. And you're talking about all this research, but where was this energy when it comes with stuff like Assassin's Creed Shadows, you know, with Yasuke, the first black samurai? I know Twitter wasn't talking about research when it comes to that. Or Twitter was talking about like, ooh, it's never historical. It's a historical fiction. It's never meant to depict anything, you know, like, oh, black samurai, yeah, we love DEI. But it's not even just about the black samurai. Like the Tori gates, the red shrines, not the red shrines, the red gates. They're supposed to be the entrance to those shrines, right? In Shintoism. But they literally just littered them everywhere for the aesthetics. Yeah, where was the research there? They're like, yeah, it was never supposed to be. Yeah, shut up. It was supposed to be way more realistic than a Japanese rom-com series, but there was none of that energy from those guys. It's only when it comes to this type of thing, you know, gray-colored, aka too white-looking anime girl with AI-generated name, Latina. It's only with this type of energy when they talk about research. But when it comes to stuff like the first black samurai, research? What's that? Like, we got Wikipedia. Like research on a Japanese historical fiction, we don't need that. It's based off of history, right? You know, just historical fiction. Nope, it's actually based off of the history in United States, actually, right now in California. It's like just, you know, probably yesterday, something like that happened. But actually, you know, you're right. It's based off the history of Japan, modern day Japan, actually. Why don't you research where the crime is happening in Okinawa? Yeah, study that. Anyways, me over, out. Like, comment, subscribe, keep it YouTube friendly, and stay tuned for my next video.